Hi, I'm Monica,
Hi, I'm Nova.
Hello, I'm Cash.
and you are listening to Anxious at Bedtime.
Anxious at bedtime. Den for a rubber ducky. You're listening to Anxious at Bedtime.
Okay. I don't think we have any news to cover this week, so let's just jump right into the story.
We're jumping right into the story. Thank you guys if you tuned in last week. We are
Thank
going to
you.
say that though. Thank you guys. It's pretty cool.
So, this week we're talking about sleep paralysis and reoccurring dreams. Sleep paralysis is a temporary inability to move or speak while falling asleep or upon awaking. Sleep paralysis is still not very understood, and part of that is because it's very hard for doctors and scientists to catch sleep paralysis in sleep labs. So, not a whole lot is known about it. It usually happens to people with narcolepsy or sleep apnea, but it can happen to anyone. And it happens when your REM sleep ends suddenly. So, your brain is awake, but your body is still in REM. And just in case, if anybody doesn't know, REM sleep is rapid eye movement, which is the deeper part of your sleep when you have dreams.
It's usually about 10 to 15 minutes worth total
Your
in
REM?
each cycle. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
That's why it's super important to get that REM sleep. If it's interrupted, it kind of sets off your cycle and makes you feel overtired or really, really tired just because you didn't hit that full notion of REM that you're supposed to get.
That makes sense though, because on average, sleep paralysis lasts 6 minutes, but it can last anywhere from a few seconds up into 20 minutes. And it's interesting that it lines up pretty well with how long REM sleep normally is. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that would make sense when your brain goes into that deep well, that deep cycle
Mm-hmm.
where you would be awake and alert and conscious of not being able to move, not being able to control anything. Absolutely.
Sleep paralysis is not considered dangerous.
That's for those who don't have it.
That's kind of what I was thinking when I read that was like, it's easy to say it's not dangerous if you've never experienced it. I never have experienced it, not to the full extent that some people have, but it sounds terrifying and I don't want to.
For real.
Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself and now I don't know where I am in my notes. It's most often first noticed in teen years. Sleep paralysis has been noted for centuries, seen as far back as 1781 in the painting The Nightmare by Henry Fuseli. This painting features a sleeping woman with what appears to be a demon sitting on her chest. It's a terrifying image, and I completely recommend you look it up. I'll try to add it to our Instagram if I can find it again, but it's scary.
It's kind of how a lot of people who have sleep paralysis actually describe it as like something sitting on their chest, something dark and not good, something evil.
Actually, that's what I was going to say next is it's very common to see terrifying things like that when you're experiencing sleep paralysis, and we don't really know why. The best idea that experts have really been able to come up with is because your body can't move, but your brain is awake. Your brain tries to fill in that space with a reason for why you can't move. And they say it just naturally comes up with the most terrifying thing. I don't know.
That would make sense. It goes into panic mode. It's an alarm. Hey, this ain't normal. This isn't how it's supposed to be, my guy.
That's fair. And because you're already panicking and full of anxiety, it just makes it even worse. That would make sense.
I can understand that. I would panic too.
I would too, yeah. Part of what makes sleep paralysis so scary is how truly universal it is. Anybody, anywhere could experience it, and most people have very similar experiences, which is terrifying. The thought that,
That multiple people could be having the same exact reoccurring dream and feeling simultaneously in different places. It's crazy.
exactly, it's
What
thought
if
that
it's actually
perhaps,
just like a sleep demon?
yeah, so I kind of researched into that a little bit, but I'm not gonna lie, the whole sleep demon thing really, really scares me. So it's kind of a base or a light look into. But some experts think that perhaps people talking about their experience with sleep paralysis can inspire trigger the same experience in other people's sleep paralysis and cause them to have the same dreams, which I guess could make sense.
So you're telling me from us talking about this right now, I could just come down with a case of the sleep paralysis.
A lot of people actually believe that if you talk about it, it could trigger it.
We're talking about it, and I'm just gonna have the sleep paralysis. I
But
don't like that.
I think more so what it's referring to though is them saying somebody that already has sleep paralysis, somebody else's experience could cause them to have the same experience or have the same dream.
Well, we don't know. That could be me. I got a terrible memory too. So
That's
who knows?
fair.
I could have both.
But I think the whole talking about it thing could make sense. However, people talk about their dreams all the time and it doesn't trigger that same dream. So it doesn't make sense that it's just the sleep paralysis, creatures and demons and frightening things that people see over and over, but not all of these other dreams.
Maybe it's like summoning it, like saying Beetlejuice 3 times.
That's kind of more so what I think. Like talking about it a whole lot and then being scared about it gives it power and not necessarily tricking your mind into having a similar dream. But like I was saying, I don't understand how this super terrifying thing could be reoccurring, almost identical to other people's dreams, but sharing happy dreams, nobody has the same experience. And even sharing other nightmares. I remember when I was in middle school or high school, I used to have dreams about evil Care Bears. I told my nightmares to anybody that would listen, and nobody else ever came to me and said, "Hey, I had a dream about evil Care Bears."
You told everybody about your dreams of evil Care Bears.
Yeah, because it was so scary.
So you were in high school going
I
around
remember
telling
that.
everybody you were dreaming of Care Bears?
Yes, evil ones that were coming after me.
Did you at least use like some good horror descriptors, like some detail? Or were you like, they're just big and scary, dude? You have dreams about Care Bears?
Said they were evil with red eyes.
Okay.
But anyway, the evil Care Bears aren't the important part of the story. The important part of the story is I told my nightmares to people all the time, and nobody ever said, "Hey, because of
Evil
you, I had
Care
the
Bear
same nightmare."
nightmares.
Anyway, moving on. But as for hallucinations, people experience auditory hallucinations, visual hallucinations, and other sensations. Reported hallucinations include things like a demon dragging the person around the room, the feeling of floating, seeing animals, hearing voices. There's a whole bunch of different scary stuff that can happen. I know personally, like I said, I've never experienced the whole awful shebang, but a few years ago, at a time when I was very sleep deprived, I did experience auditory hallucinations a lot, where I thought I heard somebody come into the house or knocking on the door, and it would wake me up. But thank goodness, knock on wood, that's the worst that I ever experienced.
Yeah. So sleep paralysis, I thought I had it bad because sometimes, I wake up and I'm maybe just lazy because I don't move. I don't feel like moving or I just don't move, but I'm fully conscious and I'm like, why am I not moving? But I'm not tormented. I don't feel things sitting on my chest. So I got maybe like light sprinkling.
Well, I love that for you.
I don't. And speaking of this sleep paralysis demon, maybe this thing is astral projecting. Like maybe everyone's having normal dreams and this thing's fucking with them. Maybe this sleep paralysis demon, it's like, some old guy that got burned and has some claws that haunt you in your nightmares, something of the sort. 1, 2, sleep paralysis coming for you.
I never thought about it like that, but that could make a lot of sense. It's like that episode of SpongeBob where SpongeBob was jumping into different people's dreams. It could be something like that. That's why it's the same experience, is because it's the same entities jumping into dreams doing the same things. That'd be crazy. Now, while there are very similar experiences universally, there are different demons associated with different cultures. Some examples are in Newfoundland, there's an old hag. In Egypt, it's known as the jinn. In Japan, it's a vengeful spirit that targets enemies. And then in the US, one of the ones most talked about is a witch. But we're going to talk about the night hag because that was the one that scared me. I don't want to say that because now I feel like it's going to come for me.
Yeah, I'd be more terrified of a hag coming for me in my dream than everything else too. Not a fan of some old hag just being on my chest. Gross. 1, 2, no.
No. Okay. But we're talking about the night hag, also known as the old hag. She is said to immobilize the person sleeping by sitting on their chest, but she's also been seen standing at the foot of the sleeper's bed and sometimes crawling towards the person on the bed. I don't like that.
Is that La
Oh God, no,
Llorona?
thank you.
Right? No, that's a different thing, but it's still terrifying.
Yeah, I swear if I saw an old hag crawling toward me in my bed, I'm kicking the fuck out of that thing.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what I do. I feel like my fight or flight, I freeze. She's described as looking like the stereotypical witch, old, wrinkled, and long, often gray or dark hair. In 1896, it was rumored that it was possible to keep the hag away by putting nails into a shingle and then fastening the shingle to your chest before going to sleep.
Like, did you have to nail the shingles into your chest or like you could just tape it there?
They didn't specify, but I want to know the answer so bad because were people going around hammering a shingle to their chest.
Yeah, what year was this again?
1896.
1896. I
So they
see
could
them
have been.
fucking hammering
Yeah.
some fucking shingles into each other's chest. Be
That's
like,
how you
oh,
keep it away, is because you die.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh. Yeah.
they
They're like,
bled you out with leeches, and they're like, it can't get you if you're dead.
yeah, they're like, you're so delirious. You don't see anything. You're safe.
There's no sleep in the afterlife, so
Oh man. But no, I had the same thought. Like, what? Oh, how do you do it?
me personally, I don't think there was tape back then. Not gonna
No.
lie, but I would go with like some tar, or molasses, or just fucking big slices of shingle and just wrap it around me like a mummy.
Yeah, maybe they fastened it with like gauze. I don't know. That's what I would do. I don't want to be covered in molasses.
To get the hag from away from sitting on my chest. Yeah.
That's fair. That's a trade I'd be willing to make. Um, when I was researching this, I found that one person on Quora said that when they witnessed the hag, it was sitting down, crouched like a monkey, and the hag had numbed their voice so that they couldn't even call for help. Something about that visual gave me the worst goosebumps. If you close your eyes and picture an old hag witch woman crouched down like a monkey at the foot of your bed,
Our cats do that sometimes.
but they're cute.
Not when they do that.
They're not trying to hurt me. And I can reach out and pet them. I think that's a big factor.
Sometimes I kick the cats when they do that. I'm like, the fuck out of here. What is that?
No, you
Not
don't.
hard. Not hard. Very nice. Very polite. The most politest I can, but I kick them.
No, you don't.
Not
You accidentally
intentionally.
knock them off the bed
I knock them
sometimes.
off the bed. I get, a little tossy turny.
Anyway, if you ever experience sleep paralysis, it is said that somebody else's touch could help stop it. I've also heard that if you close your eyes, it'll help pull you out.
So if you live by yourself, you're shit out of luck. You're stuck.
No, you can still close your eyes.
No, somebody else's touch though.
Yeah. But
Sorry, single ladies.
above all else, it's very important to remain calm because whether it is your brain being overactive and scared or it is a demon, I don't know, something about remaining calm can help pull you out of it.
The other thing they let on to is blinking.
Yeah, blink. Some people do say that it feels almost impossible for them to even just blink, but if you can just try, remain calm, close your eyes, you should be able to pull yourself out of it. Now, I would love to do another episode on sleep paralysis and sleep demons and all of that. So if you have any stories, if you've experienced it, if you know somebody that's experienced it, please send us an email and we'll read it on the pod. We want to hear your experiences. But for now, I want to talk about another side of dreams, reoccurring dreams.
There's another side of recurring dreams. She's going to tell you all about it.
There's many sides, but we're only covering these ones.
She's not going to tell you all about it either. This is not a docu-series.
It's not. I could talk about this forever, but I didn't want this to be a very super long episode.
Let me tell you, I love my wife to death, but she could talk about anything forever.
I choose to take that as a compliment.
It is.
Something that has truly fascinated me for like 20 years.
Magnets.
Well, yes, but that's not what we're talking about. It's reoccurring dreams. Now, for a dream to be considered reoccurring, obviously you have to have the same dream at least 2 times.
I fall a lot in my dreams, and it's a very long fall.
No.
Sometimes when I haven't had the dream in a while, I think about it and I'm like, man, you remember that falling dream where you just kind of fall off a ledge, you fall down some stairs, like the stairs just disappear and it's falling with nothingness. There's nothing around me. Sometimes I think about it a lot, like I haven't had that in a while. And for some reason, in my dream, I'm like, you know what? Let's have it now. And
You
I
conjure it.
consciously in my dream make it so that it happens. Like I'm like, you know what? Fuck them stairs. And I just blink them out of existence. Sometimes I'm like, hey man, I miss having that falling dream. Fuck this airplane door. And I get like Hulk strength. And there's nobody else on the plane. I don't even know who's flying the bitch, but it's time for me to free fall. And I knock the plane up. That the plane may just disappear. I don't know. I just know that the next thing I know is I'm free falling.
You're an adrenaline junkie, aren't you?
I don't know what that's about. I really don't. It's not that I want it to happen in real life. Sometimes in the dream, I'm like, hey man, it's kind of fun.
You're like, I'm a little bored. Let's make this scary.
I have a reoccurring dream that's pretty terrifying, but like not in the spooky sense.
Yeah.
But it's like I have to go to the bathroom, and the only place is this toilet that's just out in the open. For
No,
an introvert, that is pretty terrifying.
because I didn't even think about this when I was doing this episode. Like, look, I have a whole list of the different recurring dreams I've experienced, and this one did not make the list because I didn't think about it. But you can ask Cash. I have that nightmare all the time, like once or twice a month, and
She
I don't
does.
know why, but it's so terrifying. And
She
it's not
does.
even, I can understand
It
sometimes you have a
is.
dream where you really, really have to pee, and then you wake up and you have to pee. It's not that. It's just I have to go to the bathroom, and sometimes I'm like with groups of people or in shopping malls, and sometimes it's just a toilet in the middle of the room.
And sometimes she thinks that there's glass walls and everybody's watching her pee.
Yeah. And the worst, I don't know why, I don't know what this says about me. This is gross and TMI, but the worst is when I have to poop. And it's just everybody can see me and I'm trying to wipe, but I don't want anybody to see my poop.
She doesn't want the marker stains on the
Yes,
television.
I've had the
It's
same one.
that is so weird.
So for me, I have reoccurring dreams where I pee out in the open all the time, but I also do it out. Let's phrase this right. I do it in real life too, not like in random public places though. Let's be clear
That's
about
fair.
that.
You're not like walking through Target and like, oh, let me just pee here.
I
And
don't
then
just take off my pants and go, it's time to drain and just keep walking while I pee amongst people or anything like that. But if I'm out in nature,
he does pee in nature all the time. But no, that's crazy that you experience the same nightmare because I mean, I don't talk to a lot of people about it, but I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about having that same dream. And that's really weird, especially since you're my sister and we've never talked about it before.
For real.
But
But
okay, moving
it's
on.
happened in so many different random places too.
Yeah,
Yeah, like one of the places, it was in the lawn in front of my second elementary school that I used to go to.
that's so weird. Oh, but sad.
Right?
I feel like mine is mostly just in stores and malls.
Yeah, I've had a lot in like stores too, or like even just like walking down the sidewalk. And oh God, it's embarrassing. It's so awkward.
Yeah, it is. It feels so
what
real.
doesn't help is you also have an issue going to the bathroom in random stores. So that could be a little piece of your reoccurring dream, baby.
Are you saying because I don't like using public restrooms?
Public restrooms
Not
terrify
for
you.
me.
They
Uh,
do.
there's so many different fucking ones on our road trips. She does a little tally of every state we go to. She's like, in this state, we've been to 84 different goddamn restrooms, and there's been two with the ass gaskets. Hey, we've been to 35 different restrooms because I have to go to the bathroom a lot. I pee a lot. Little TMI, but I do. But she evaluates him. She's like, hey, man, what's up with this place? In this entire state, there's been one bathroom with
Be-
ass gaskets.
because it's crazy to me. In Montana, we for real have found like two bathrooms that have toilet seat covers. Isn't that crazy? Like, why aren't people using toilet seat covers?
For real.
Um, Experts try to analyze the reoccurring dreams and give them meaning, but I'm not sure that they all have a deeper meaning. For example, they say that if you have a dream about being chased, it means that you're avoiding something. But I don't know. I think sometimes they're just weird.
I have dreams about getting chased sometimes because I don't want to be chased, and it's called a nightmare.
See, and I think that still makes sense. I'm not sure every single dream has this deep meaning that your subconscious is trying to make sense of. I did find a Reddit story where a woman had several recurring dreams about the same man for years. It went on for so long that she developed an emotional attachment to him. After she got married, she had a dream of him where he was very mad that she got married and was like, you married the wrong guy. After a few years, she ended up divorcing her husband, and then she found the man in real life through social media.
Was the man aware of her dreams? Like, did they ever talk about him?
No, she never talked to him. At least the whole story I read and all of the updates and stuff, she never talked to him and was like, hey, by any chance, do you have dreams like this? And I want to message her and be like, please tell me you messaged him already. Like, what is going on? You two might be soulmates.
I need you to reach out to her, and we gotta have a follow up for this part.
I might. I might.
Imagine that guy was just a next level gaslighter.
What do you mean?
Like he was just astral projecting into her dreams and he was like stalking her and in love with her for so long.
That'd be so
And he's
creepy.
like, no, you love me. Get with me.
That would be
Right?
so creepy. But you'd think if he was astral projecting into her dreams, he would at least at some point reach out.
True.
But that's crazy.
Maybe.
Maybe.
He's like, I want to feel special. She needs to reach out to me.
Maybe.
It's like, I don't know if that should actually work. I'm not saying anything. She's gonna think I'm crazy, but
Oh, that's
I think
fair.
it worked.
Yeah.
Reach out, email.
I might. If I do, I'll update this. But now I just want to talk about some of our reoccurring dreams. I know I personally, like I said, have had a lot. My favorite one for a long time, I don't know when they started, but I've had this dream about kind of like a circus or like, I don't know how to explain it, but in my dreams, I always called it Funland because it had a bunch of different food places and like games and carnival rides and stuff like that. But I very, very vividly, every single dream, I remember knowing that I'm dreaming and I get there and I get to the outside gates and I always waited for somebody. Nobody that I ever knew in real life that I can remember, but I was always waiting for a friend. And then once they got there, we would go inside. And then every single time the dream was different once I got inside. But I had the dream enough that for every dream, I could recall the layout of the inside perfectly. Like I knew where I was going. And sometimes, depending on the friend that would join me, I would be able to tell them, like, if they'd never been there before, I'd be like, oh, well, over here is where we do this, and over there is where that thing is. It's very weird. I haven't had it in like 10 years, maybe, but I used to have it all the time. And that dream freaks me out because I can't remember if it was a movie or maybe a book I read, but there was something where kids were having dreams like that and then they were being taken.
I
I'm sorry.
remember hearing something about that though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also don't remember what it was from, but literally, as you were describing it, like once you said Funland, I was like, oh shit, that sounds so familiar. And then like you
Yeah.
started describing it, and I was like, oh my God, I remember hearing something about that, but the kids were being like taken or hurt or something,
Yeah.
like just
See,
something bad happening.
I kind of feel like maybe it was a Goosebumps book or something, but I feel like they aren't typically that scary. I don't know, but I never had any scary feelings attached to my dream. It was always a very happy, like, oh, I got to go here this time type of thing. I was never scared.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was that. But since I've been an adult, it's always been in the back of my head, like, oh gosh, what if something was trying to eat me?
Well, if it makes you feel better, I never got to go to Funland either.
I'm sorry. Another reoccurring dream that I had, although I didn't have this one nearly as much, it took place in an empty mall in my hometown.
Your hometown did not have a mall. It hardly had a store.
No, that's why it's weird because there's not a mall, but this dream was an empty mall in
Oh
my
yeah.
hometown. And it was an old, like decrepit, falling apart, water stains on all the walls, ceiling tiles missing, and it was gray. Like that much I remember it was completely gray, but I don't remember anything else about this dream.
You had a
I
dream in
remember
the
what the
back rooms.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That's gross.
To me, it kind of sounded like the mall on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater did.
I like to think that it's that. But no, I don't remember any of the dreams. I just remember being in the building and being like, oh, I'm here again. And then the last dream that I had all of the time when I was younger, though, they stopped once I hit like 10, was I was flying or falling. I'm not really sure, but I remember all I had was, do you know the metal poles from tetherball?
Yeah.
I had one of those and I would like a big wind or something would start and I would hold on to the metal pole and I'd go up in the air and I'd be flying around and I just had to hold on to this pole. And I knew if I let go or slipped, like I'd go splat. And I was holding on with everything I had onto this pole. And that's all I really remember.
Huh.
That one scared me a lot. But it does remind me, I forgot to put on my list my favorite reoccurring dream when I was a kid, I had all of the time up until like the age of 17, I think. It's been a while since I've had one, but I could not really fly, but I could like float. You know how when you're swimming, it felt like that. Like I could push off of a wall with my legs and just slowly float through the house. And I would do that all the time. Or I'd float to like other places and go visit different countries and states. And
So what you're saying is you were astral projecting.
now that I understand these dreams more, I kind of think maybe because I've read a lot of experiences and that's kind of what it sounds like.
See, I had a dream. I had a lot of reoccurring dreams, kind of like that, where I could float. And it was very like intentional. So like I would go back to the same exact location from a previous dream. Like, let's say it was a certain house, a certain layout, a certain event, and I would go right back there. And then I could float above everything and kind of watch and see what's going on and take myself, like, float up the stairs and go to different locations, kind of like a fucking video game. Like, you're flying above the levels to see where you want to go and then kind of go into it. So, yeah, kind of like astral projecting, which I still kind of have those dreams where it's similar to that, but I don't get to go anywhere cool. Like, I just kind of fucking float around and it's just kind of endless where I float around in the same event over and over and over.
I
You're
don't
just
have those
haunting
dreams.
someone's house.
You're the
Maybe I'm
ghost.
astral projecting to be a ghost. I'm being that fucking sleep paralysis monster.
You're the hag.
I'm the old hag. Wake the fuck up. Maybe that's why I do like that dream. I'm like, ooh, who can I sit on now? Just fucking with people like, no, like Monsters Inc.
What if that's what sleep paralysis is? Is it's people
It's just
accidentally
me.
astral projecting into other people's dreams?
The person's trying to wake up it, and it's just some asshole like me. Like, no, not right now, player. I'm watching this. You had a pretty wild dream, and I want to watch it. It's my favorite TV show of the month. Like, that'd be crazy.
I would be. But no, I'm kind of jealous. I don't have those floating dreams anymore. And I used to love them. I remember I'd fall asleep and consciously be like, okay, I'm going to have that dream now. And then I would have it and I could control like when I would start floating. I miss those. I like those dreams a lot, but I don't remember floating over places like that.
Not like Aladdin and Jasmine. That's not how I float over places. I'm gonna take a magic carpet and fly over and like, I can show you the world.
That would be cool.
No, it's more so me just floating above a fridge, like, ooh, I wonder what's inside of that. Why are those people still fucking talking right there? Keep her moving.
Yeah, see, I mostly floated like at the same level that I am when I stand. Sometimes a little bit lower, a little bit higher, but not much. Have either of you had any other reoccurring dreams?
I know I've had some, but I really can't like put my finger on them. But like I know I have a good handful of them because I'll wake up from them and be like, "Oh, I had that dream again."
Mm-hmm.
And that happens like so often with like so many different kinds, but I freaking can't remember them.
I hate that.
I have deja vu a lot. Maybe that coincides with it.
I get deja vu a lot too.
Mhm.
Is the deja vu
Ditto.
frustrating for you or enjoyable?
Frustrating. Sometimes enjoyable because I'm like, it's the times when I'm like, I've experienced this before and I've had deja vu about having deja vu about this. And that's when I
Kind of
like
feel
it.
validated.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that get angry. I'm a lot of people.
You get angry?
I'm like, why do I have to do this again? I've already been here. I've already seen this, bud. It's
You're
time to
just,
go. Keep her moving. Stop. I get, it's not angry, but I get frustrated. Like, come on, man.
that's fair. When I get deja vu, it's always like very trivial stuff. It would be fun if it was like, oh, it's my birthday again or something like that.
Yeah, like
Not,
you predicted the future. You're like, I knew that this was going to happen. Not like, and it's something fun. Like, I knew this was going to happen. And there's something to it. Not like, I knew I was going to drop my fork while eating this salad. That's
yeah,
fucking a waste of my time.
I get that. Yeah, that makes
It's a
sense.
nuisance to remember that. Like, what? But if it's like, hey, this random event happened, like, oh my God, I should have seen this coming. But it's a little bit more exciting, more enticing. But like, I knew I'd stub my toe on the edge of this bed today. God damn it. I thought it was going to be a Tuesday. It was a Tuesday. I just didn't know which one. Like, come on, get out of here with those ones.
Yeah, I get that.
No, I'm asking, please get out of here with those ones. Can those ones please end? I'm tired of
I'm
them.
pleading.
Speaking of predicting the future in dreams, our grandmother is really good at those.
Yeah, apparently.
When I was talking to her earlier about her dreams and stuff, she was talking about how, both of us know that she's had very many, but there's the one that I always remember for the cabinet in the kitchen, the old cabinet. Do you remember that one?
No, I don't think so.
So back when we had that old cabinet in the kitchen, one night she had a dream that it broke. And she woke up and she was like, "Is the cabinet okay?" And like she thought it had broken in real life at that point. And we were like, "No, it's fine." And then she went back to sleep. And then I think the next day or the day after that, it just collapsed. The shelves inside of it just like broke down. And
I
she was like, I
remember.
knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah, I remember it collapsing. I didn't remember that dream. But that is something that's weird to me. Our family, we're very weird about dreams and stuff like that, especially since so few of us are actually blood related. I don't know what kind of weirdness is going on there. But do you remember that time that mom had a dream that somebody else in our family was pregnant and she messaged them and it was like, "Hey, I kind of feel like you should take a pregnancy test." And that's how that person found out they were pregnant.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That I still think about that one all the time.
She knew that I was pregnant before I even told her too. Like she had a feeling a little bit before I told everyone and stuff. And I was like, girl, how you do that?
Yeah,
What
that's
in the
so weird.
bruja?
Another weird one, this is more on the astral projection side of things. Somebody on Cash's side of the family,
Uh-oh.
yeah, has been astral projecting. And it's so interesting to hear about because they made a pen pal and they would be like, okay, let's see if we can astral project and meet up in our dreams tonight. And then they go to bed, they'll have conversations with each other in their dreams and wake up and they had the same fucking dream. Or they would remember the same
I
details, or they went to the same place. And they would say it was code words, right?
No, it wasn't even code words. They can remember parts of the entire conversation.
Yeah.
Like they can remember in detail conversations that they had while they were astral projecting, like in their sleep. And that's what it's fucking crazy. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's so weird. And then the pen pal would be like, "Oh, this is what I saw when I was astral projecting," and explain the perfect layout of the house that they've never been to, never seen.
never seen a picture of
Yeah,
nothing.
so creepy.
That's so crazy. I
And
feel
I'll
like
cut.
I've had a similar experience with someone, but I can't for the life of me remember who it was. It
Oh,
was
that's
either
weird.
an ex or like Olivia or something. It wasn't quite as strong as the one that you just said, but we would wake up and like describe a lot of the similar stuff, and we're like, what the fuck?
That's so weird though.
The closest I can relate is being blackout drunk or browned out drunk with people. And then we can kind of piece together the stories the next day or sometimes a week later.
You're a dork.
That's the closest I got.
Do you want to talk about the blue school?
Sure. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, okay, my brain was wild as fuck as a child. Yeah, when I was like 2 or 3 years old, a story that all the elders would tell
Mhm.
me as I was growing up was that one night I just woke up and started singing the ABCs completely, like A to Z, like every single letter, didn't miss a
Yeah.
beat. And they weren't like teaching me super hard about it or anything too. So all of them were super shocked when I did that. And then a bit down the road, they would be asking me like, so "How did you know that? Like, where did you learn that from and stuff?" Because there were a few other things I would just like randomly do, and they would be like, "Where the heck did you learn that from? Like, we haven't taught you that." And I would respond to them, "Oh, like my blue school." And they're like, "What do you mean your blue school?" In my dreams, I would have a bunch of different sets of colored schools. Like there was like the pink school, the blue school, orange school, red school, on and on. And each color stood for a different subject. And in each school, we learned a different thing. I don't know how, but I was retaining all that information
Hmm.
and putting it into my normal day to day life. And I remember my blues school was led by this rock and roller kind of guy. Everything in the schools too was completely that colors. Like the teacher would be that color. The students would be that color. The
What'd
walls
the
and floor,
music be?
ceiling lights, everything would be that color. The blue teacher had this guitar and like spiky hair. And he had these like dark blue sunglasses on, and I remember he was the one that taught me the ABCs, and he would sing it with his guitar, and it was just wild. It was so wild.
Yeah, it was creepy. And this was before she went to preschool or kindergarten or anything like that. Like she was like 3, maybe 4, like an itty bitty little baby. And she would just wake up and spout information. And the weirdest one was the ABCs because they weren't teaching her it yet. I feel like I hardly knew my ABCs at that point. I'm 2 years older than her. And it was so weird. She would wake up in the middle of the night and just say information. And everyone would be like, well, how'd you learn that? And she would just be like, oh, it was at the school. So weird.
So alien or no?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's
I
actually
wonder,
what was happening. I was just being abducted.
Okay.
you were getting abducted and they were giving you information.
My brain is exploding.
But yeah, I think that's everything I have for weird dreams and freakiness.
Yeah, that's everything I got.
And we can always do more episodes.
We can. I want to for sure. The dream stuff, I could talk about it
Hmm.
all day.
Me too.
So please, if you or somebody you know has any weird, unexplainable paranormal experiences, especially dream related, if you want to talk to us about anything we've talked about on the podcast, if you want to ask us to cover anything on the podcast, please send us an email to anxiousatbedtimepodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on TikTok or Instagram, Anxious at Bedtime Podcast.
Do all the things.
I don't know what we're doing next week, but we will see. And hopefully it's a little less scary or more scary. We'll see.
So please stay out of my dreams.
If you are dreaming and you happen to see Cash, please say hello.
Do not say hello. Just keep her moving. You can
And give a
wave.
like
Just
and subscribe.
don't interrupt. Don't interrupt my dreams. I got business I'm taking care of. I'm trying to fucking float freely by myself, just
He's
free
trying to
fall.
jump out of planes and stuff. He's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, if you guys try to interrupt that, I'm gonna expect complete silence. You can fall in silence next to me. You start screaming and freaking out about it. It's not the dream for you. Keep her moving.
And remember, the world can seem like a scary place with things like sleep demons and astral projection, but we're probably fine.
We're probably fine.
We're probably fine.
Ooh, now I'm scared to go to sleep.
You're probably fine though. Don't quote me on it, but you're probably fine.